Alright, hello everyone, this is Krotic giving you another game, Game 3 in a best of 3 series between Complexity's Minigun and Empire Happy here on Terminus Ray. We have Minigun spawning as the blue Protoss player on the top side of the map at the 12 o'clock position. Meanwhile, Empire Happy spawning as the yellow Terran on the bottom side of the map. As the yellow Terran at the 6 o'clock position. Now, these games have been really interesting and not your typical games. Game 1, Empire Happy opening up with some very effective Banshee harassment and then able to move in and execute an all-in strategy. In Game 2, Minigun was able to get to 200 food and was able to push back Happy, even though Happy had dropped a lot of nukes and tried to delay any serious pushes coming in from Minigun at all. Minigun looks like he will be chrono boosting accidentally on that Nexus just a little bit early there, as we now see a probe make his way out, and it will be doing a little bit of scouting. It will be a little bit of time before he comes across Happy, and he should be pretty happy to know that this is going to be relatively far spawns. That means that 1-1-1 build will not be nearly as effective. Banshees, tanks, Marines, any early pressure will take quite some time to make their way out. Now, Happy is going for that early refinery. We'll see if Happy goes for another early or goes for a refinery, or will once again Minigun be able to go for that gas steal and that gas block. We can see that a barracks is about to be completed. A Marine should be trained up in just a moment, and it's all going to come down to whether or not Minigun does decide to block off this gas in just a few seconds. We should be upgrading to an orbital command here in just a moment. It looks... Did he not see it? He did not see it. So Minigun didn't walk far enough in and did not see his opponent. And that is just going to be horrible, horrible news for Minigun. Minigun scouting out first, and it is going to end up having to backtrack all the way here. Happy going to be able to get this second refinery much more quickly after the after the gas has been harvested. Very interesting how this is all going down here. As you can now see, Happy should be able to build up a factory and then pick up his second gas. And now you can see Minigun moving in, sees that he did not scout out that location, now being forced to go all the way back, and this is going to be very, very hard felt. You can now take a look back over here, the production tab. We are getting into a reactor and going in for some early Hellions. There is 2 Marines down on the low ground, so that probe will not be able to really do anything at all. Meanwhile, we are chrono boosting out a Zealot, and we are also getting the Cybernetics Core. We should also be able to get a Stalker right behind this as well. So Minigun may be forced to just try to move across the map. You can see, the probe taking a lot of damage and now being forced to turn around. We are going into a reactor. We are going to be going in for those double Hellions. No second gas, though, even though Happy does have the opportunity to do so. Based upon perhaps the relative spawning locations and knowing that he does have a very, very long way to walk, those faster moving Hellions may be a better harassment choice, as we are now going to have this bunker completed over here on the high ground. SCV trying to sneak its way in once more, doing a bad job of sneaking, but able to catch a little bit more sight, perhaps a sentry, but he didn't see any real key technical buildings at all. Back over here, Happy does not know about this expansion here at the 12 o'clock location, as we are now going to see a Stalker and a Zealot now make its way across the map. There is a probe back over here. It looks like a probe can warp in a pylon. We should be getting that warp gate tech in about another minute or so, so additional gateways should be warped in as well, and we are also going into a robotics facility. This one Stalker is going to try to fend off a couple of these Hellions, and now we are also going into mass barracks, interestingly enough. So we are going into more barracks play. Going to go ahead and do another reactor swap, as the Zealots may be able to just torch down that Zealot very, very easily. More Stalkers need to be warped in, and in a hurry. This is going to be a definite problem, as those Hellions moving across the map, they are very, very fast. And now Minigun gonna be able to perhaps get 1, perhaps 2 force fields. Will it be enough? He needs to upgrade and warp in those warp gates. Yes, he is already upgrading to warp gates, and there's the force field. It does last 20 seconds. I think it will be just enough in time to get in additional sentries as well. The second sentry should be heading over there, and yes, it will be another sentry just in time. Are the force fields going to come in? And no, yes, the force fields come in just in time. Minigun getting very lucky there. And now Minigun allowing himself to just chase after those Hellions even further. Another force field may be coming in, and is it gonna come in? Yes, another force field. And where is the force field gonna come in? Yes, it does come in. And now 2 Hellions inside the base. The Hellions may be perhaps going to be able to get some probe damage there. 1 probe, no probes killed so far. It looks like yes, 1 or 2 probes have been destroyed, but at the cost of a lot of Hellions. And now that harassment didn't deal nearly as much damage, I believe, as Minigun was, as Happy was originally hoping. Happy now setting up a second command center here. He will be going into a tech lab. It looks like he is getting that second refinery finally up and running, but that early harassment, it didn't pay off, so it may come back to haunt him. We are going into Ravens though, so it is a Raven instead of an early Banshee, as an observer now makes its way across the map. With 4 Marines and 1 Raven, I believe that observer is going to get essentially little to no sight at all. It won't be able to track the army. Raven about halfway completed, as this observer will park itself here. Now we're transitioning into the mid game, and we'll see how exactly Minigun wants to follow up after that early victory. He was able to stop the harassment, but he really didn't do anything to damage his opponent. It looks as though we will be going into a robotics bay, as he does spot a lot of Marines. There is also a factory on the low ground to act as a little bit of a wall, and now a Raven is making its way out over here, and Minigun does not see this Raven. Oh, he does see the Raven, now trying to back off. Will it be able to back off in time? The observer down to 6 hit points, and oh, able to barely escape, and now perhaps going to park itself off over here, or sit itself in the center portion of the map to see when this army will in fact be moving out. That is a fair amount of Marines. The Raven now currently just getting even more energy, as well as it's starting to push, and it will be able to intercept the attack of those Stalkers. So there are going to be a lot of Stalkers there. An observer now flying around once again, and it looks like it was spotted by the Marines, but the observer able to pull back and able to escape once again. Now, Happy desperately wants to get this expansion up and running, and very happy to know that he does have double mules in play. So getting up a stronger economy. He is running off of a lot of barracks currently, or will be running off of 4 in just a moment, as he now switches to a reactor on the Starport for most likely double training medevacs and double training Vikings. Now, the Colossus, there is no Colossi just quite yet, only 1 being trained. Perhaps if he's able to queue up a couple, Minigun will be able to attack, but the key question will be whether or not Happy will have enough Vikings to destroy those Colossi. There is an auto turret over here on the high ground. Auto turret does have a range of 6, equal to a Stalker. So the Stalker is not able to actually shoot at that auto turret unless that auto turret does fire in. Marines are pushing in over here, and it looks like there is an expansion coming in. And will the Marines just simply run by? Yes, going to simply run by here and now go after probes. 1 probe taken down, but not really much damage there, as a second probe does get taken down. The Marines continuing to stim and destroy and perhaps cancel this Nexus. It looks like the Nexus will simply just get canceled, as now the Stalkers are going to try to engage, but the Stalkers not able to catch up to that medevac, as the medevac had a decent lead. Meanwhile, back over here, Happy also came in with a drop as well, but I believe the Colossus had scared it off. In comes the drop over here, and now in comes the Marines. It looks like the extended thermal lance range completed just in time, and really that was not a very effective drop at all. Meanwhile, back over here, the Marines once again pushing and looking to deal a lot of damage to Stalkers. Our Guardian Shield did come online. Does the Guardian Shield actually give additional +2 armor to a... No, it does not. It does not give +2 armor to a building. Just friendly units. It does not count for buildings. So very, very important there, as this medevac now returning home. There is still an auto turret here keeping track of this 1 Zelnaga tower, as now Marines once again going to try to drop in and deal even more damage. The Stalkers are already in position though. It looks like the Stalkers may get some damage. No, not going to be able to pursue that medevac at all, since we do not have Blink. Vikings are being trained, as the Colossus is also being added, currently sitting on 2, with a 3rd one being added to this army, and Minigun will have a very small window of opportunity. The longer the game goes, the more effective those Vikings are going to be, since those Vikings can stack and destroy those Colossus before the Colossus can get within range. The Vikings generally push out a little bit further ahead and able to shoot at those Colossus, and one or two rounds of attack from a decent squadron of Vikings can one-shot them, and that's always a potential it's a potential issue for Protoss in this matchup, Terran versus Protoss. All right, let me slow it down just a little bit. Raven now parking itself off over here. It looks like Happy's still trying to cause a lot of harassment as he's macroing up off of 2 bases. So Minigun does have 3 bases. He does have a stronger economy going. He does not have as large of an army though, so that may be the issue. If Happy now pushes out, he should be able to deal a lot of damage and very, very quickly. You can see a squadron of, or just a platoon of Marines and Marauders on the move, and now SCV is coming in once more. So this is another all-in attempt essentially from Happy, and this is going to deal a lot of damage. Stalker now pulling back. You can see Psystorm is being researched. You can see High Templars are also being warped into play, but will that Psionic Storm be completed in time? We definitely need to see a Chrono Boost onto that Templar Archives, a Chrono Boost on the Ford as well, and onto the Templar Archives as the main push now going to be pushing in. And now where's that Guardian Shield? No Guardian Shield. Finally there. SCV's coming in. Point defense drones. Vikings destroying Colossus one after another. Marines are now pushing in. The force fields were not perfect, and that is going to be the problem as the Stalkers are now trying to fight this attack back. But I believe that there's just too much damage absorbed by the point defense drone, and Minigun once again losing to a 2-base all-in here on Terminus Ray. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.